you all this evening. I want to apologize in advance for such a lengthy statement. Public institutions should be transparent, and scrutiny is both appropriate and expected. However, when such scrutiny is based on misinformation, incomplete information, or conclusions drawn without fully understanding the facts, it does a disservice to the public we all serve. Over the last year, we have seen extensive commentary about the district and its leadership suggesting intent without proof, interpreting silence as wrongdoing, and presenting complex operational decisions as simple conclusions. I want to take a moment to address the latest Avinger Table Talk published on March 25th regarding the Blanchard, Louisiana Data Center. The Table Talk discussing Laura Overdyke with the Caddo Lake Institute's public comment regarding the Blanchard Data Center states, the maximum amount of water that the data center would use in a year would be 307 acre-feet, but the average use would be 175 acre-feet per year. Publicly available information, including televised interviews with Blanchard's mayor, Jen Galombo, contradict these numbers. According to Mr. Galombo, the proposed data center would use 4 million gallons per day. That is 4,400 acre-feet per year. About a month after Mr. Galombo's interview, it was made public that there would be not one, but 3 Amazon data centers in Blanchard. Recently, the Shreveport-Bossier City Advocate published that these 3 may just be the beginning, disclosing that 6 projects have signed term sheets. Other reporting reveals some of the proposed data centers will use approximately 7.5 million gallons per day, or about 8,400 acre-feet per year. Regarding Caddo Lake Institute offering $6 million to purchase water from NETMWD to support environmental flows. The Table Talk states that amending the permit would allow reporting of environmental flows, and the district would remain free to report or not report environmental flows, and that adding in-stream flows to a permit offers more flexibility in reporting how water is used. This assertion indicates a lack of understanding regarding the rules relating to water reporting for the state of Texas. NETMWD already reports environmental flows that we voluntarily release without the permit being amended. In the past, we have been incorrectly accused of not reporting environmental flows for the last few years. Fortunately, once the critics were educated on why the reporting showed 0 was due to the lake being in flood state, the harassment stopped. The Table Talk states that amending the permit would not prejudice the district in any way. Most water lawyers would tell you that adding in-stream flow purpose of use on a perpetual basis for the full right, which is what the proposal states, would modify a vested property right, changing the currently authorized purpose of use. This might alter how the right is exercised or protected in the future and would become part of the water rights enforcement's term. There is also worry about the uncertainty regarding how a permitted in-stream purpose of use may be viewed or treated in the future. There is a possibility that it could become a dedicated environmental flow that could not be undone. Such an amendment might reduce operational flexibility for the district in utilizing its water right. If you dedicate all or even a portion of your water right to in-stream flow purpose of use, the volume of water may no longer be available for diversion for other authorized uses. It may also be legally difficult if the district wished to later convert its water right back to its current form. Most importantly, such an amendment might create an obligation to supply water for in-stream flow purposes of use beyond the term of any contract between CLI and NETMWD. Currently, the district maintains full diversion authority, full storage authority, and 100% operational control over how its water is used within its permitted categories. Amending our water right creates vulnerability. If the district formally reduces diversion in favor of non-consumptive in-stream dedication, it increases exposure risk by creating a regulatory record of non-use allocation and may invite partial cancellation arguments in future proceedings. Things about the proposal that you should know. First, the $6 million is based on a donation. According to the proposal, payments to the district are contingent on NETMWD amending the Lake of the Pine water right. So who's to say that once we permanently amend our water right, the donation falls through? So I asked Laura Overdyke who the donor was, and she said she couldn't disclose that. However, a presentation given by Ms. Overdyke to the Caddo Levy Board in January may contain a clue. This is her direct quote to the board. So 40,000 households on the Louisiana side of the lake get their water out of Caddo Lake. I think y'all have seen in the news that there's probably going to be a data center announced in Blanchard. The water would come from the water treatment plant, which means it would come from Cattle Lake. So right now there's plenty of water. I don't think it would be a massive concern. However, especially if that Dallas sale went through, there's not enough water to support the lake's health and Blanchard and the population over there in the data center and power generation. Regarding the data center, she said, we could require, encourage, incentivize these companies to go in with us on restoring the watershed and actually contract that water from Lake of the Pine that wants to sell all that water to Dallas. If they could contract to have that water sit downstream, if we lock up enough water, we might be able to block Dallas to the point where they go, it's not enough to build a $2 billion pipe. My response to this is, if any industry is looking to purchase water, contact the district directly. Our water right already includes municipal and industrial use. Cattle Lake Institute acting as an intermediary is a clever way to deceive into amending our water rights.
That's right.
Secondly, 5,000 acre feet is just a start. The proposal states, 1, they want drought reliable supply. This means they would not be curtailed even in a drought while member cities would. 2, they want a 50% carry forward credit of the contract year, not requested in any contract the following year. So the $5,000 in year 2 would be the 5,000 acre feet in year 1, in year 2 it would be 7,500, and you add 2,500 every year. On top of that, they want the voluntary releases and to recognize the role of a definitive agreement as providing an additional mechanism for ensuring continued water availability, aka no longer voluntary. So they want 5,000 acre feet plus an additional 2.5 carryover year to year plus voluntary releases, all while paying for only 5,000 acre feet and only for 9 years. These requests would decrease the value of our farm water and make it unreliable, something that would be unappealing to future water customers, which seems to be their strategy. Not to mention, they set up their own price, which doesn't reflect a fair market value and dictate how the revenue is to be split. Although the table talk stated that I offered a false premise, I stand by my statement that the structure of this proposal creates significant long-term regulatory, operational, and strategic risk for the district that outweigh any potential benefit to NETMWD and its member cities. Permanent changes to our water right in exchange for temporary revenue is not in the best interest of the district. What I find intriguing is that the author of the table talk seems to support Cattle Lake's proposal. As he states, the water would be used for life support during dry times and would protect the environment downstream. Yet in 1994, when he was the mayor of Avinger, he signed a resolution opposing the designation of Cattle Lake as an outstanding national water resource, and furthermore opposing any designation of grant of rights or control over or seizure of resources. The resolution states, whereas such designation virtually removes the waters of Cypress Creek and its tributaries from human use and effectively prohibits new human uses in the watershed, whereas such designation will cause great economic and human disruption of the well-being in the inhabitants of the city of Avinger, other cities, and rural communities which lie within the Cypress Creek Basin. A previous table talk stated, during the meeting, the general manager proposed a new budget, including a large increase of $85,000 for professional consulting. She stated that $75,000 was for an engineering study of Lake of the Pines. The Cattle Lake Institute has already contracted this work with Aqua Strategies. Senator Perry's bill, Senate Bill 7, has been signed by Governor Abbott, establishing a multi-million-dollar fund to maintain and upgrade water infrastructure in the state of Texas. Would it not be better for the water district to focus on obtaining grants from this new fund to maintain this infrastructure, rather than hiring an engineering firm to repeat the work already done? At the very least, it should invite Aqua Strategies to present their findings to the board. In response to this statement, I want to say 1, Laura Overdyke and Aqua Strategies gave a presentation to the board in October of 2024, which resulted in more confusion on their part. 2, we have applied for the grant funding mentioned. And 3, persons with a business acumen would want an independent and unbiased study. $75,000 for an independent study at Lake of the Pines is a lot less than $145,000 in counting, running balance for a lawsuit that is based on information and belief. The London News Journal published an article in which Mr. Simpson stated, when you're arrogant and you think you're doing something right, but it has terrible consequences, you just need to admit you're wrong and say I'm sorry, and then do what's right and celebrate that. Indeed, I agree. I would like to close by saying that even unintentional misinformation is dangerous and harmful. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact the district. We are here no matter how minor you believe your concern is.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would like to publicly thank the directors